I didn't come to Thailand looking for love. I came here because I had nothing left back home. Piria wasn't just different. She made me feel young again, seen again. But I guess when you ignore all the signs, you deserve the heartbreak. I gave her everything, and in the end I didn't even get the truth. I'm not angry. I'm just learning how to breathe again. The night air was thick with street smoke and laughter when I first kissed her. I was sitting on a red plastic stool beside Piria, watching her finish the last piece of grilled pork from the skewer we'd shared near Victory Monument. A few days ago, I got an email from a longtime viewer of this channel, a man who said he's watched every story I've ever told. He wrote, "I thought I was the only one, but after hearing your stories, I finally realized I wasn't crazy for believing in her." I'll be honest, that line hit me harder than I expected. I just sat there, staring at the screen, feeling that familiar pull in my chest. Then I started reading his story. The words came slow, heavy, like he'd been holding them in for years. He talked about the laughter, the trust, the slow unraveling, how the same smile that once healed him became the thing that broke him. Halfway through, I had to stop reading. Not because it was too much, but because I recognized every moment. The way love blinds you, the way loneliness rewrites what you're willing to tolerate. His pain echoed mine in ways I didn't think possible, and by the end of his message, I wasn't just reading a confession, I was reliving one. It reminded me that what we do here isn't just storytelling. It's survival. It's connection. It's the quiet truth we share when the world has already judged us enough. To everyone who keeps watching, who comments, shares, and keeps coming back, thank you. You've built something real here. You've made this channel more than just a place for broken hearts. You've made it a place to start over. So wherever you're watching from, Bangkok, Manchester, Toronto, or Tokyo, drop a comment below. Tell me where you are. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to stay part of this growing circle of truth. Let me take you back to where it all started. The city lit up behind us like some kind of neon cathedral, all flickering lights and endless motion. She turned to me, wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, and smiled. Not the polite smile you give strangers, the real one. The one that crinkles the corners of your eyes. Then she leaned in and kissed me. Just like that. Soft, quick, real. I'm 68 years old. I hadn't been kissed like that in more than a decade. My heart stuttered in my chest like an old engine trying to turn over on a cold morning. She pulled back and laughed, her eyes catching the streetlight. "You taste like pork," she said. I couldn't stop grinning. I felt like a kid again, like someone who mattered, like someone who could still make a woman smile. It had been 2 months since we met. 2 months since I walked into that 7-Eleven near Phaya Thai station and saw her standing by the drink cooler, staring at a packaged durian like it had personally offended her. The fluorescent lights made her skin glow. She wore tight jeans and a crop top, her long black hair pulled into a ponytail. I'd laughed without meaning to. She looked up, her eyes narrowing. "You think durian funny?" she asked. Her English was choppy but confident, each word chosen carefully. I shook my head, still smiling. "I think you look mad at it." She studied me for a second, then grinned. That was it. That was the start. We stood there in that 7-Eleven talking about durian for 10 minutes. She told me she hated the smell but loved the taste. I told her I couldn't get past the smell to even try. She laughed and said I wasn't a real Thai person then. I said I wasn't trying to be. I was just an old American trying to survive the heat. She asked my name. I told her, "Hugh." She repeated it slowly, like she was testing how it felt in her mouth. "Hugh. Like huge?" I nodded. "Yeah, but I'm not." She laughed again. We exchanged line numbers before I left. I didn't think much of it, just a friendly conversation. A moment. But that night, lying in my small condo near Ari, my phone buzzed. "Good night, Hugh. Sleep well." I stared at that message for 20 minutes. Nobody had wished me good night in years. My ex-wives certainly never did. My kids stopped calling after the second divorce. I was used to silence. But here was this stranger, this young woman taking 5 seconds out of her night to send me 3 words. And those 3 words made me feel human again. We started texting every day. Little things. "How was your morning? Did you eat yet? What are you doing today?" She sent me photos of her breakfast. I sent her photos of the temple I visited. She asked about Texas. I asked about Isan. It felt harmless, easy, natural. Then she asked if I wanted to meet for dinner. I said yes, before I even thought about it. We met at a small restaurant in Rachada, the kind of place where the menu is only in Thai and the plastic chairs wobble. She ordered for both of us, som tam, grilled chicken, sticky rice. She watched me struggle with the spice and laughed so hard she nearly fell off her chair. "You're suffering," she said, still laughing. "Little bit," I admitted, my mouth on fire. She reached across the table and wiped sweat from my forehead with a napkin. That small gesture, that tiny act of care, it cracked something open inside me. We started meeting once a week, then twice, then almost every day. Coffee in the afternoon, dinner in the evening, late-night walks through neighborhoods I'd never been to. She showed me her Bangkok, not the tourist version, the real one. Street markets where she knew the vendors by name. Tiny temples tucked between apartment buildings. Rooftop bars where the drinks were cheap and the view was everything. And now here we were, 2 months in, sitting on a street corner near Victory Monument, kissing. I didn't know what this was, didn't know where it was going, but I knew I didn't want it to stop. "You want more beer?" she asked, nudging my arm with her elbow. I shook my head. "I'm good." She leaned into me, resting her head on my shoulder. Her hair smelled like jasmine and cigarette smoke. The noise of Bangkok buzzed around us. Motorbikes weaving through traffic. Vendors shouting about grilled squid and fried insects. Music blaring from a nearby bar. Some Thai pop song I didn't know. But in that moment, it all felt quiet. Like the world had shrunk down to just the two of us. I thought about how I got here. 2 divorces. 3 kids who don't talk to me. 40 years driving trucks across highways that all looked the same. I'd spent my life moving but never really going anywhere. When I finally retired, I realized I had nothing to retire to. Just an empty apartment in Austin. A bad back. A pill organizer with 7 compartments. I'd heard about Thailand from other guys. Guys who talked about cheap living and beautiful women and starting over. I didn't believe them. But I had nothing else. So I bought a one-way ticket and told myself it was an adventure. The first month was hard. Lonely. I didn't know anyone. Didn't speak the language. Spent most of my time in my condo watching movies I'd already seen. I walked a lot. Tried street food. Got sick twice. Started to think I'd made a mistake. Then I met Piria. And suddenly Bangkok didn't feel so big anymore. I looked down at her, her eyes half closed, her hand resting on my knee. The traffic light changed. Red to green. The bikes roared forward. But we didn't move. "Hugh," she said softly. "Yeah? I'm happy." I squeezed her hand. "Me too." And I meant it. For the first time in years, I actually meant it. It was our 3rd week together when she told me. We were sitting in her favorite cafe near Siam Square, one of those overpriced places that served tiny sandwiches on wooden boards and iced lattes that cost more than a full meal at a street stall. The air conditioning was too strong. I had goosebumps on my arms. She'd been quiet all morning, picking at her croissant, staring out the window at the BTS trains sliding past. I knew something was coming. I could feel it in the way she kept glancing at me and then looking away. "Hugh," she said finally, setting down her coffee cup. "I need to tell you something." My chest tightened. Here it comes, I thought. She's going to end it. She's realized I'm too old, too boring, too broken. I braced myself for the words. She looked down at her hands, fingers twisting together. "I'm not like other women." I blinked. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath, her shoulders rising and falling. "I'm a ladyboy. You understand? I was born a boy, but I'm a woman now. I've been a woman for many years, since I was 16, but I need you to know. Because if you want to leave, I understand." The cafe noise seemed to fade. The hiss of the espresso machine, the chatter of other customers, the pop music playing overhead, it all became distant. I sat back in my chair, processing. I'd suspected it, honestly. Something about her voice, slightly deeper than most women. Something about her build, broader shoulders, taller frame. But I hadn't let myself think about it. Hadn't wanted to examine it too closely. And now, sitting there across from her, watching her eyes fill with tears, I realized something. It didn't matter. Not the way I thought it would. Not the way I'd been taught it should. Piria, I said slowly, my voice rough. Does it change how you feel about me? She looked up, surprised. No. But it might change how you feel about me. I reached across the table and took her hand. Her fingers were cold, trembling. It doesn't. She stared at me like she didn't believe it, like she was waiting for the punchline. Really? Really. And I meant it. I'd spent my whole life thinking I knew what I wanted, thought I knew what love was supposed to look like. Married my high school girlfriend when I was 20. Had 2 kids before I was 25. Thought that was what you did. Be a man. Provide. Protect. But I was miserable. Divorced at 30. Tried again at 35 with someone I met at a truck stop diner. That lasted 8 years. 2 more divorces. 2 more failures. Years of feeling like I was never enough. Never right. Never what anyone really wanted. And here was this person, this woman, who made me feel more alive, more seen, more valued than anyone ever had. I didn't care what she was born as. I cared about who she was now, who she was with me. She started crying. Not quiet tears, real sobs that shook her shoulders. People at nearby tables started looking. I didn't care. I stood up, walked around the table, and sat down beside her, put my arm around her, let her cry into my shirt. You're a good man, Hugh, she whispered between sobs. I didn't feel like a good man. I felt like a lucky one. When she finally stopped crying, she pulled back and wiped her face with both hands. Her mascara had run. She looked young, vulnerable, human. I was so scared to tell you, she said. I thought you would hate me. I could never hate you. She smiled through the tears. Some men do. When they find out, some men get angry, violent. I've been hurt before. That's why I waited. I needed to know you were safe. Something twisted in my chest. The idea that she'd been hurt, that someone had laid hands on her because of who she was. It made me want to find those men and hurt them back. But I just held her hand tighter. I'm not going anywhere, I said. And I meant it. Over the next few weeks, I started to see her world. Not just the coffee dates and the late-night street food, but the real stuff, the messy stuff. She lived in a cramped apartment in Ratchada with 2 other ladyboys. One was named Noi. The other was Joy. The apartment was small. 1 bedroom. They all shared it. Took turns sleeping on the couch. The place smelled like hairspray, instant noodles, and cheap perfume. Clothes everywhere, makeup scattered on every surface. A small altar in the corner with a Buddha statue and incense. They were loud and funny and kind. When I first visited, they stared at me like I was an alien. This old white man standing in their doorway holding a bag of mangoes. But Piria introduced me, and they softened immediately. This is Hugh, she said in Thai. I caught my name. Heard her say something else I didn't understand. They both smiled. Noi said something that made Piria blush. Joy laughed and waved me inside. They treated me like family. Offered me tea. Asked me questions in broken English. Showed me photos on their phones. They were good people. Survivors. Piria worked part-time at a beauty counter in a mall downtown. I visited her sometimes during her shift. Watched her help customers pick out foundation shades and lipstick colors. She was good at it, patient. She'd hold different shades up to their face. Ask questions. Make them laugh. She made people feel beautiful. I could see it in the way they looked at themselves in the mirror after she was done. Like they'd been transformed. But she also worked nights. At a club in Sukhumvit, she'd told me early on, said it was just hostess work, sitting with customers, pouring drinks, making conversation. The tips were good, better than the mall. She needed the money. I didn't like it. The thought of men looking at her, touching her arm, saying things. But I understood. She had a family back in Isan, a mother who was sick, a younger brother still in school. They depended on her. She sent money home every month, 15,000 baht, sometimes more. She told me all of this one night, lying in my bed in the small condo I rented near Ari. The lights were off, just the glow from the street coming through the window. Her head was on my chest, My hand was in her hair. I want to stop, she said quietly. The club? Yes. I don't like it. The men. The way they look at me. The things they say. But I need the money, Hugh. My family needs it. My mother is sick. Diabetes. She needs medicine. My brother wants to go to university. If I stop working, they have nothing. I stroked her hair, feeling the weight of her words. What if I helped? She lifted her head, looking at me in the dim light. What do you mean? What if I gave you enough so you didn't have to work nights anymore? So you could just work at the mall? Be safe. Her eyes went wide. Hugh, no. That's too much. I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. She started crying again. She wrapped her arms around me and buried her face in my chest. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I felt like a hero, like I was saving her, like I was finally doing something that mattered, like my life had purpose again. I started helping with her rent. 2,000 baht became 4,000. Then 6. I bought her a new phone when hers broke. An iPhone. She cried when I gave it to her, said it was too much. I told her it wasn't. I sent money to her mother. 10,000 baht. Then another 10. She showed me photos of her family. Her mother smiling in front of a small wooden house, her brother in his school uniform. They looked happy, grateful. Every time I helped, she thanked me. Every time, she cried. Every time, I felt like I was building something real, something that would last. I didn't see the cracks forming, didn't see the way her gratitude was starting to feel rehearsed, didn't see the way she looked at me sometimes when she thought I wasn't paying attention. Not with love, but with something else. Calculation, assessment, measurement. I didn't see it because I didn't want to, because acknowledging it would mean admitting I was being used, and I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. So I kept giving, kept helping, kept playing the hero, and she kept taking, kept thanking, kept playing the damsel, and we both pretended it was love. It started on a Monday. She told me she couldn't meet that day. Family thing, she said over line. Her mother needed help with something. Doctor appointment. I told her it was fine. Take care of your family. She sent back a heart emoji. The next Monday, same thing. Can't meet today. Sorry. Family. I said okay. The Monday after that. She didn't even give a reason. Just said she was busy. I started noticing a pattern. Every Monday, she was unavailable. Every Monday, she had somewhere else to be. The rest of the week, she was mine. Afternoons at my condo, dinners in Chinatown. Late nights watching Thai dramas I didn't understand while she translated the funny parts. But Mondays belonged to someone else. Something else. I tried not to think about it. Tried to trust her. Told myself she had a life outside of me. She had friends, family, responsibilities. But doubt is a slow poison. It seeps in through the smallest cracks, and once it's there, it spreads. It grows. It takes over. One Monday night she came to my place late, almost midnight. I'd been lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering where she was. I heard the key I'd given her turn in the lock, heard her footsteps. She appeared in the bedroom doorway. I could smell alcohol on her from across the room, sweet and sour. Her makeup was smudged, black lines under her eyes. Her hair was messy. She stumbled a little when she walked in. Where were you? I asked, sitting up. She waved her hand dismissively. Just out with friends. Relax, Hugh. You said you were with your mother. She froze. Just for a second. A flash of something in her eyes. Then she smiled. I was. Earlier. Then I met friends after. Why you ask so many questions? Her words were slightly slurred. She kicked off her heels and collapsed onto the bed beside me. I'm tired. Can we sleep? I wanted to push, wanted to demand answers, but I didn't. I just turned off the light and lay there in the dark, listening to her breathe, smelling the alcohol and cigarette smoke and something else, men's cologne. I didn't sleep that night. A week later, she came back wearing a new gold necklace, thin, delicate, expensive looking. We were getting coffee near Siam when I noticed it. That's pretty, I said, pointing. Where'd you get it? She touched it absently, her fingers tracing the chain. My friend gave it to me. For my birthday. Her birthday had been 3 months ago. I'd taken her to dinner, bought her a cake. She'd cried and said it was the best birthday she'd ever had. I didn't say anything about the timeline, just nodded. Nice friend. Yeah, she's very kind. But I didn't believe her. The necklace looked new. The gold caught the light in a way that screamed expensive. And I knew her friends. Noi and Joy, they were as broke as she claimed to be. They weren't buying gold necklaces for each other. The doubt got louder. Started keeping me awake at night. I'd lie in bed scrolling through her social media, looking for clues, evidence, something that would either confirm my fears or put them to rest. I found nothing. She barely posted. Just the occasional selfie with a generic caption. Good morning, happy day, coffee time, nothing revealing, nothing suspicious, but also nothing real. Like her online life was a carefully constructed facade. I started giving her more money, not because she asked. She actually stopped asking, but because I thought it would keep her close. I thought if I gave her enough, she wouldn't need anyone else. I thought I could buy her loyalty. Covered her rent for 3 months in advance. 12,000 baht. She cried and said I was too good to her. Bought her a laptop. Said it was so she could take online makeup courses. Expand her skills. She kissed me and said I was changing her life. Sent extra money to her family. 20,000 baht. She showed me a video her mother sent. Her mom crying with happiness. Thanking me in Thai. Blessing me. I felt good about that one. Felt like I was making a difference. But the Mondays kept happening. And the doubt kept growing. One night I finally asked. We were sitting in my condo, she was on her phone. She was always on her phone now, typing, smiling at the screen, giggling at something. Piria, I said, setting down my beer. She didn't look up. Where do you really go on Mondays? Her fingers stopped moving. She slowly looked up from her phone. Her face changed, hardened. Why you don't trust me? I do trust you. I just want to understand. She stood up abruptly. You think I'm lying? You think I'm doing something bad? I didn't say that. You don't have to say it, Hugh. I can see it in your face. You look at me different now. Like I'm a liar. Piria, You think because you give me money, you own me? You think you can control my life? Her voice was rising, getting sharper. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? She grabbed her bag from the couch. You don't understand my life. You don't understand what I have to do. You think you're helping me? You're just making me feel small, like a child, like I can't make my own decisions. I never said that. You don't have to say it. She was yelling now. I can feel it. Every time you give me money, I can feel you judging me, wondering what I'm doing with it, wondering if I'm lying to you. I'm tired of it, Hugh. I'm tired of feeling like I have to prove myself to you. And then she left, slammed the door so hard the walls shook. I sat there on the couch, staring at the closed door, feeling like I'd just been punched in the chest. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. I wanted to go after her, wanted to apologize, but I didn't know what I was apologizing for. For asking a question, for caring, for wanting to understand. She didn't contact me for 2 days. I sent messages. Are you okay? Can we talk? I'm sorry. Nothing. Read receipts showed she'd seen them. But no reply. On the 3rd day she finally responded. I'm sorry, Hugh. I was upset. Can we talk? We met at Lumpini Park. She was already there when I arrived. Sitting on a bench by the lake, watching the monitor lizards swim. She looked tired, sad, dark circles under her eyes. I sat down beside her, didn't touch her, wasn't sure if I should. I'm ashamed, she said after a long silence. Of what? Of my life, of my job, of everything. I don't want you to know the bad parts of me, so I hide them. I lie. I push you away when you get too close. But I'm not doing anything wrong, Hugh. I promise. I'm just trying to survive. And sometimes survival isn't pretty. I wanted to believe her. Wanted it so badly it hurt. Okay, I said. Okay, I trust you. She leaned into me, put her head on my shoulder. I love you, Hugh. The words hit me like a wave. She'd never said it before. Never even hinted at it. And now, sitting here by the lake, with monitor lizards and joggers and the city noise in the background, she said it. I love you too, I said. Because I did. Because despite everything, despite the doubt and the fear and the confusion, I loved her. She looked up at me. Really? Really? She kissed me. And for a moment, everything felt okay again. For a moment, I believed we could make it work. But deep down, in a place I wasn't ready to acknowledge, I knew she was lying. I knew something was wrong. I knew I was losing her. But I wasn't ready to let go. Not yet. She started talking about the future, about dreams, about the life she wanted. We were lying in bed one afternoon, the fan spinning slowly overhead, traffic noise from the street below. She was tracing circles on my chest with her finger. I want to open a salon, she said quietly. I turned to look at her. A salon? Yeah, a small one. Just me, and maybe one other stylist. I could do makeup, nails, hair. I'm good at it. People tell me all the time. And I could finally stop working nights, stop depending on tips and drunk men and feeling dirty. How much would it cost? She shrugged. I don't know. Maybe 200,000 baht. Maybe less. I haven't really looked into it. I'm just dreaming. 200,000 baht. About $6,000. I'd already given her more than that. Over the past 3 months, I'd spent close to 250,000 baht, maybe more. Rent, phone, laptop, family money, little gifts, dinners, taxis. It added up. I wasn't rich. I was living on a fixed income. Social security check every month. Small pension from the trucking company. I had savings, but I was bleeding through them faster than I'd planned. Faster than was smart. What if we did it? I said. Her hand stopped moving on my chest. What? What if we opened the salon together? I could help. We could make it happen. She lifted her head and stared at me. Her eyes were wide. Disbelieving. Hugh, are you serious? I wasn't sure. The words had come out before I'd really thought them through. But now, seeing her face, seeing the hope and excitement, I couldn't take them back. Yeah, I said, I'm serious. She threw her arms around me, started crying. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best man I've ever known. The best thing that ever happened to me. I'll make you proud, Hugh. I promise. I'll work so hard. We'll make it successful. We'll be partners. A team. We kissed. Right there in my bed. She tasted like tears and toothpaste. I felt her hands in my hair, felt her body against mine. Felt like I was finally doing something right, building something real, creating a future with someone who loved me. But that night, she didn't stay. Said she needed to go back to her apartment. Had to organize some things. Plan for the salon. Talk to Noi and Joy about it. I said okay. Walked her to the door, kissed her goodbye. Watched her disappear down the hallway. I went back inside. Lay in bed. Stared at the ceiling. My phone was on the nightstand. I picked it up. Opened line. Her profile showed a green dot. Active. I watched it. Watched it stay green. 2 in the morning. Still green. 3 in the morning. Still green. 4 in the morning. Finally turned gray. I didn't sleep. I just lay there. Watching that dot. Wondering who she was talking to. What she was saying. What she was planning. And feeling something inside me start to break. It was a Tuesday morning. She'd stayed over the night before. Rare. She usually left after a few hours. Said she slept better in her own bed. But this time, she stayed. We'd had dinner at a Thai place near my condo. Shared a bottle of wine. Came back and watched a movie. Fell asleep together. In the morning, I woke to the sound of the shower running. Heard the water hitting the tile. Her phone was on the pillow beside me. Face down. I'd never looked before. Never felt the need. Never wanted to violate her privacy. But something inside me broke that morning. Maybe it was the sleepless nights. Maybe it was the accumulation of all the small lies. Maybe it was just intuition. I picked it up. It wasn't her usual phone. It was a second one. Smaller. Cheaper. A backup. I unlocked it. She didn't have a passcode on this one, and there they were. Dozens of line chats. Names I didn't recognize. John. Martin. Sven. Akira. Mike. David. Chris. I opened the first one. John. Messages in broken English. Hi baby. Miss you. When you free? Her reply. Miss you too. Maybe Thursday? What time you want? His response. 8 p.m. My hotel. I pay extra for overnight. Her response with a kissy emoji. Okay. See you then. I felt my hands start shaking. Opened another chat. Martin. How much to see you Monday? Her reply. 3,000 baht. Short time. 5,000 for long time. His thumbs up emoji. I'll take long time. See you next week. My vision blurred. I opened another. Sven. I'm back in Bangkok next month. You available? Her reply. Of course. I wait for you. You always treat me so nice. His response. I'll book you for the whole week. Just you and me. Her reply with heart emojis. Cannot wait. You're my favorite. I scrolled faster, chat after chat, promises. Flirting. Negotiations. Photos. Some of her in lingerie. Some just suggestive angles. One video preview I didn't click. Couldn't bring myself to. And then, buried in a chat with someone named Akira. This guy Hugh is sweet. I might keep him. Little boring, but he gives good money. Easy to manage. I put the phone down. Carefully. Like it was explosive. Walked to the window. Stared out at the Bangkok skyline. Morning light reflecting off glass buildings. The BTS train sliding past in the distance. Birds on the power lines. Normal life continuing. The shower was still running. I could hear her humming. Something cheerful. Oblivious. My hands were shaking so badly I had to clench them into fists. I felt hot and cold at the same time. My chest was tight. Hard to breathe. I didn't cry. Didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. I just stood there, watching the city, feeling everything inside me collapse. All the hope. All the plans. All the love. It all crumbled like a building with its foundation removed. Just dust and rubble. The shower turned off. I heard her moving around in the bathroom, humming. The door opened. She came out wrapped in a towel, her hair wet. You okay? She asked, looking at me by the window. I didn't turn around. Yeah. You look sad. I'm fine. She walked up behind me, put her hand on my shoulder. I flinched. Actually flinched like I'd been burned. She pulled back immediately. What's wrong? I turned to face her, looked at her, really looked at her. Wet hair, concerned eyes, towel clutched to her chest. She looked vulnerable, innocent, like someone incapable of what I'd just seen. Nothing, I said. Hugh. I said I'm fine. She stared at me, searching my face. Looking for something. Did I do something? No. You're lying. I'm not. She looked toward the bed, saw her phone still there. Face up now. I'd forgotten to put it back exactly how she'd left it. Her expression changed. Just for a second. A flash of panic. Then it smoothed over. I have to go, she said. I have to work early today. Okay. She got dressed quickly. Jeans. T-shirt. Didn't do her makeup. Just grabbed her bag and both phones. Came back to where I was standing. Kissed me on the cheek. A performance of normalcy. I'll see you later? I nodded. She lingered for a moment, studying me. Then she left. I heard the door close. Heard her footsteps in the hallway. Heard the elevator ding. And then silence. I sat down on the bed, put my head in my hands, and finally, I let myself break. I didn't contact her for 3 days. Just stayed in my condo. Didn't eat much. Didn't sleep much. Just sat on my balcony drinking beer and staring at the city. She sent messages. Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? I miss you. Hugh, please talk to me. I'm worried. I didn't reply. I needed space, needed time to think, needed to decide what to do with what I knew. Part of me wanted to pretend I hadn't seen it. Wanted to go back to the blissful ignorance, keep playing house with her, keep believing the lie. But I couldn't unsee it, couldn't unknow it. The words were burned into my brain. This guy Hugh is sweet, easy to manage. On the 4th day, I sent her a message. Let's meet. Lumpini Park, tomorrow, 3 p.m. She replied immediately. Okay, I'll be there. Are you mad at me? I didn't respond. I got there early, sat on the same bench where we'd talked before, where she'd told me she loved me, where I'd believed her. The park was busy. Joggers, Tai Chi groups, old men feeding the fish, kids playing by the lake. Normal life happening all around me. She showed up 10 minutes late, wearing a sundress, yellow with white flowers. Her hair was down. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful. That was part of the problem. She sat down beside me, close but not touching. Hugh, what's going on? You're scaring me. I took a deep breath, stared at the lake, at the monitor lizards sunning themselves on the bank. I saw your other phone. Silence. Long. Heavy. Then, what? I saw the messages, all of them. Martin, John, Akira, the Monday appointments, the hotel visits, everything. Her face went white, actually drained of color. Her hands started shaking. Hugh, I can explain. Don't. My voice was flat, empty. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Those men don't mean anything, she said. Her voice was shaking now. Desperate. They're nothing. They're customers. It's just business. It doesn't mean anything. I don't feel anything for them. You lied to me. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing. It's not. I was protecting you. I didn't want you to know about that part of my life. I didn't want you to see me like that. I finally looked at her. Like what? Like someone who was seeing other men while telling me you loved me? Like someone who called me easy to manage? She flinched. You read that? Yeah, I read that. Tears started running down her face. Real ones this time. Or maybe they were fake. I couldn't tell anymore. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was just venting. I was frustrated. But I didn't mean it. I do love you, Hugh. I really do. You used me. She shook her head violently. No, that's not true. You took my money. You made me feel like I was helping you, like I was saving you. But I was just another one of them, wasn't I? Another customer. Another paycheck. That's not fair, isn't it? I pulled an envelope out of my jacket, put it on the bench between us. There's 30,000 baht in there. It's the last money you'll ever get from me. She stared at the envelope like it was a snake. What does that mean? It means we're done. The words came out easier than I expected, like I'd been practicing them. Maybe I had been. In my head, over and over for 3 days. She grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. Hugh, wait, please. I'll change. I'll stop. I'll delete everything. I'll block all of them. Just give me another chance. Please. I looked down at her hand on my arm, at her painted nails. Red. I'd paid for those nails. Paid for the manicure. Paid for everything. How much of it was real? I asked. She blinked. What? Any of it? The coffee dates? The dinners? The nights you stayed over? When you said you loved me? Was any of it real? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. It was real. All of it was real. I do love you, Hugh. But you love their money too. That's different. That's survival. You don't understand. You're American. You have money. You have options. I have nothing. My family has nothing. I do what I have to do to survive. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I stood up. My knees cracked. Reminded me how old I was. How stupid I'd been. Maybe you do love me. In your own way. But it's not enough. And I deserve more than this. She stood too. Tried to hug me. I stepped back. Hugh, please. Don't do this. I'll do anything. I'll prove it to you. Just give me time. I've given you enough time. And enough money. And enough of myself. I looked at her one more time. Tried to memorize her face, the way the sunlight hit her hair, the tears on her cheeks, the desperation in her eyes, because I knew this was the last time I'd see her. Goodbye, Piria. I walked away. She called after me. Hugh, wait. I didn't turn around. Didn't stop. Just kept walking. Through the park. Past the joggers and the Tai Chi groups and the old men feeding fish. Past the normal life that kept happening despite my world falling apart. I heard her crying behind me. Heard her call my name one more time. But I didn't look back, because if I did, I knew I'd go back. And I couldn't. Not this time. I made it to the BTS station, bought a ticket, rode the train home. Stared out the window at Bangkok sliding past, the buildings, the traffic, the people living their lives. I got off at my stop, walked to my condo, locked the door behind me, and finally, completely, I let myself fall apart. She never contacted me again. For a week, I waited, checked my phone constantly, thought maybe she'd message, apologize, beg, something, nothing. I checked her line, blocked. I checked her Facebook, deleted. Her Instagram, gone. She'd erased me, completely, efficiently. Like I'd never existed, like those 4 months meant nothing. I tried to tell myself it was better this way. Clean break, no dragging it out, no false hope. But it didn't feel better. It felt like being erased. 2 weeks later, I was walking through Nana. Not looking for anything, just walking, trying to fill the empty hours. I saw one of the girls from the club where Piria used to work. Her name was Mint, short girl with bleached blonde hair. She'd always been nice to me. Kun Hugh, she called out when she saw me. I stopped. She walked over, her heels clicking on the pavement. Hi, Mint. Where you been? I don't see you long time. Just around. She studied my face. You look sad. You okay? I'm fine. She didn't believe me. You looking for Piria? My chest tightened. No. Why? She gone. Gone where? Mint shrugged. Don't know. She left Bangkok, maybe 2 weeks ago. Very sudden. She quit the club. Quit them all. Just left. Did she say where she was going? Some people say Pattaya. Some people say Dubai. Some people say she went back to Isan. Nobody really knows. She just disappeared. Mint touched my arm gently. I'm sorry, Kun Hugh. I know you loved her. I nodded. Couldn't speak. She was good girl, Mint said. But also, I don't know. Complicated. You understand? Yeah. I managed. I understand. Mint gave me a sad smile. Take care of yourself, okay? You're a good man. You deserve good woman. She walked away, disappeared into the crowd. I stood there on the sidewalk, people flowing around me, motorbikes, vendors, music from the bars, Bangkok at night, and I felt nothing, just empty. I went home, looked through my phone. All the photos of us. The 7-Eleven selfie, the one at the temple, her eating mango sticky rice, the one from Victory Monument the night she first kissed me. I looked at the line chats. Good morning messages, good night messages, little conversations about nothing. I love you. I miss you. See you soon. I looked at my bank account, calculated how much I'd spent. 260,000 baht, maybe more. I'd stopped keeping exact track after a while. Almost $8,000. 4 months, $8,000. $2,000 a month. $500 a week. $70 a day. That was the price. The cost of feeling wanted, of feeling young, of feeling like I mattered. I didn't delete the photos. Couldn't bring myself to. Just closed the app. Put my phone down. Sat on my balcony. Drank a beer. Watched the city lights. And tried to figure out how to keep breathing. The days blurred together after that. I started walking more. Every morning. No destination. Just out. Through the streets. Down Swa I'd never been down. Past temples I'd never noticed. Past markets and shops and apartment buildings. I walked until my back hurt, until my feet ached, until I was too tired to think. I stopped at the same mango sticky rice stall every day. Small place near Ari. Just an old lady with a cart. She always smiled when she saw me, always gave me extra mango. One morning she asked, "You okay?" in broken English. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm okay." She didn't believe me, but she patted my hand. "Eat. You too skinny." I wasn't too skinny, but I appreciated the concern. The human contact. I started going to Waterroon more often, the Temple of Dawn. I'd take the river ferry across, sit by the water, watch the boats go by, watch the tourists take pictures, watch the monks in their orange robes walking slowly through the grounds. There was something peaceful about it, something that made the noise in my head quieter. One afternoon, an old monk sat down beside me. Didn't say anything. Just Saturday, we watched the river together for a long time. Finally, he spoke in English. "You carry heavy weight." I looked at him. "How do you know?" He smiled. "I can see. In your shoulders. In your eyes. Heavy weight." "Yeah. What is the weight?" I thought about how to answer. "I loved someone. She wasn't who I thought she was." He nodded. "And now you are angry." "No, not angry. Just sad." Anger and sadness are the same. Both are attachments. Both cause suffering. I didn't know what to say to that. He continued. "You gave her something. Money?" "Yes." "And she took it?" "Yes." "And now, you feel she stole from you?" I shook my head. "No, I gave it willingly. That's what makes it worse." I knew. Deep down, I think I always knew, but I gave it anyway, because feeling used felt better than feeling nothing. The monk was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You did not give her money. You gave her power, over your happiness, over your worth. That is what you must take back." "How?" "By forgiving. Not her. Yourself." He stood up, patted my shoulder, and walked away. I sat there by the river for another hour, thinking about his words, thinking about forgiveness, thinking about whether I was ready for that. I wasn't sure. But it was a start. I started noticing things again. Small things. The way the morning light hit the buildings. The smell of street food in the evening. The sound of rain on the balcony. The kindness of strangers. The old lady at the mango stall who always gave me extra. The security guard at my building who always said good morning. The guy at the 7-Eleven who knew I liked the green tea. These tiny moments of human connection. I'd stopped seeing them when I was with Piria, too focused on her, too focused on keeping her, too focused on the fear of losing her. But now, alone, I started seeing them again. And they helped. One night I was sitting on my balcony, drinking my usual beer. A text came through. Unknown number. "Hi Hugh, this is Noi, Piria's friend. I wanted to check if you're okay. I haven't seen you." I stared at the message for a long time, finally typed back, "I'm okay. Thank you for asking." Her reply came quickly. "If you need to talk, I'm here. Piria was my friend, but you were always kind to me. I appreciate that." I smiled. Typed back, "Thank you. That means a lot." She sent a heart emoji, and that was it. But it meant something. Knowing that I'd been seen, that my kindness had been noticed, that I'd left some kind of positive mark. Even in the middle of the mess, I thought about Piria, about where she was, what she was doing, if she ever thought about me. Part of me hoped she did. Part of me hoped she felt guilty, felt regret, felt something. But mostly, I hoped she was okay, hoped she was safe, hoped she found whatever she was looking for. Because despite everything, I didn't hate her. I wanted to. It would have been easier, but I couldn't. She did what she had to do to survive. In a world that didn't give her many options. In a system that commodified her existence, she played the game she was dealt. And I chose to play with her, knowing the risks, ignoring the signs. Because I needed something from her too. I needed to feel wanted, needed to feel young, needed to feel like I mattered. She gave me that, for a price, and I paid it willingly. We used each other, just in different ways. I started building a routine. Small things, structure to fill the empty days, morning walk, coffee at the same cafe, read the news, lunch at a street stall, afternoon at a temple or park, dinner at home, evening on the balcony. Sleep. Repeat. It wasn't exciting, but it was stable. And after the chaos of the past 4 months, stable felt good. I started talking to other expats, guys at the coffee shop, men at the temple. We'd exchange greetings, small talk. Some of them were like me, alone, retired, running from something or toward something. Most of them had stories, bad marriages, lost jobs, health problems. Thailand was full of broken men looking for a soft place to land. One guy, British, named Colin, started sitting with me at the coffee shop. He was 72. Had been in Bangkok for 15 years. "You've got that look," he said one morning. "What look?" "The look of a man who just figured something out the hard way." I laughed. "That obvious?" "Always is." He stirred his coffee. "Let me guess. Thai girlfriend? Ladyboy, maybe?" I nodded. He sighed. "Yeah, we've all been there, every single one of us. We come here thinking we're different, special, that our story will end differently, and then we learn we're all the same to them. Just walking ATMs. She said she loved me. They all say that, and maybe they even mean it, in the moment. But love and survival aren't the same thing. And for them, survival always wins." I thought about that. "So you think it was all fake?" Colin shrugged. "Does it matter? Fake love that feels real can keep you warm at night just as well as real love that feels fake. The question isn't whether it was real. The question is whether it was worth it." "Was it?" He smiled. "You tell me, did you learn anything?" "Yeah." "Then maybe it was." We sat in silence for a while. Then Colin said, "I had one too. Years ago. Took me for about £10,000. I was furious. Spent months plotting revenge, thinking about confronting her, exposing her, making her pay. Then one day, I just let it go. Realized I'd paid £10,000 for 6 months of feeling alive, and honestly, worth every penny." "You don't mean that." "I do. Before her, I was a ghost, just existing. She made me feel something, even if it was based on a lie. Even if it ended badly. For 6 months I was happy. How much is happiness worth?" I didn't have an answer. We finished our coffee. He left. I sat there thinking about his words. How much is happiness worth? If I'm honest, those 4 months with Piria were some of the happiest I'd had in years. She made me laugh, made me feel young, made me feel like life wasn't over. Yes, she lied. Yes, she took my money. Yes, it ended in heartbreak. But for a little while, I was happy, and maybe Colin was right. Maybe that was worth something. I thought about all the money I'd spent over the years on things that didn't matter. Trucks I didn't need, dinners I didn't remember, stuff that broke or wore out or ended up in storage. At least with Piria I got memories, got stories, got lessons. 260,000 baht, $8,000. Expensive lessons, but lessons nonetheless. I started to make peace with it. Not forgiveness exactly, just acceptance. This happened. It's over. Time to move forward. I joined a gym. Small place near my condo. Mostly Thai people. A few older expats. I started going every other day. Just light weights. Stretching. The rowing machine. My back started hurting less. I started sleeping better. I met another American there. Guy named Frank. 65. From California. Retired teacher. We spotted each other on the bench press. Started talking. "How long you been in Bangkok?" he asked. "About 6 months. Like it?" "It's growing on me." He laughed. "That's what they all say. Then 10 years go by, and you realize you're never leaving." "That happened to you?" 8 years ago. Came for 3 months. Still here. We grabbed smoothies after the workout. He asked if I was seeing anyone. I told him the short version. He nodded knowingly. "Yeah, been there. Different girl. Same story. They're good at it. The best ones make you feel like you're the first guy who ever understood them." "How'd yours end?" "She got pregnant. Or said she did. Asked for money for an abortion. I gave it to her. Week later, saw her at a club. Not pregnant. Never was." "What'd you do?" Nothing. What could I do? I gave her the money. My choice. I just stopped seeing her. She moved on to the next guy. You ever see her again? Once, about a year later, she was with some German guy, looked happy, or looked like she was acting happy. Same thing really. Did it bother you? Frank thought about it. Not as much as I expected. I was more bothered by how stupid I'd been. How obvious the signs were. How willingly I ignored them. Yeah, but you learn. You get smarter. More careful. Or you go home. Those are the two options. You ever think about going home? Every day. But then I wake up to Bangkok Sunday. Eat a 50 baht breakfast that would cost $15 in San Francisco. Walk around without a jacket in January. And I think, nah, I'm good here. I laughed. We became friends after that. Started working out together regularly. He introduced me to his friend group. Other expats. Some couples. Some single. Some divorced. We'd have dinner once a week. A rotating restaurant. Mostly Thai food. Sometimes Western. They were good people. Lonely people. But good. One night, at dinner, a guy named Richard asked me, "You planning to stay in Bangkok?" "I don't know. Maybe." "What would make you leave?" I thought about it. If I stopped feeling like I belong here. "And do you feel like you belong?" "I'm starting to." And it was true. Bangkok was starting to feel like home. Not because of any person, but because of the routine, the familiarity, the small connections, the mango sticky rice lady, the security guard, the guys at the gym, the monks at the temple. I was building a life, slowly, quietly, without drama, without romance, without the high of falling in love or the low of heartbreak. Just life, simple, stable, enough. One morning, about 2 months after I'd walked away from Piria, I was having coffee at my usual spot when I saw a ladyboy at the counter. Tall, beautiful, laughing with the barista. For a second my heart jumped. Thought it was her. But then she turned around. Different face, different person. I felt relief. I wasn't ready to see Piria again. Might never be ready. The ladyboy noticed me staring. Smiled. I smiled back. She walked over. "You like ladyboys?" she asked in English. I shook my head. "Not anymore." She laughed. "All Farangs say that, after they get burned." "You're probably right." She sat down without asking. "You seem sad." "I'm okay." "You're not." "I can tell." "Let me guess. You fell in love. She took your money. She broke your heart. Now you're here, drinking coffee alone, wondering what went wrong." I stared at her. "You psychic?" "No, just experienced. I see this story all the time. Different faces. Same story. You ever feel bad about it?" She tilted her head. "About what?" "Taking advantage of lonely men." Her expression hardened. "You think I take advantage?" "You think your girlfriend took advantage?" "Didn't she?" "Did she force you to give her money? Did she steal your credit card? Did she threaten you?" "No." "Then she didn't take advantage. You gave. Willingly. Because it made you feel good. Made you feel important. Made you feel like a hero. She gave you something too. Attention. Affection. Companionship. It was a transaction. Maybe not honest, but a transaction. She said she loved me. Maybe she did. Love and business aren't mutually exclusive. That doesn't make it right." She shrugged. "Right and wrong are for people with options. We do what we have to do. You want to judge? Fine. But you got something from her too. So don't pretend you were just a victim." She stood up. "I hope you feel better soon." And she left. I sat there. Angry at first. Then, thoughtful. She wasn't wrong. I did get something. I got to feel wanted. Needed. Important. I got to play the hero. The savior. The good guy. That had value. I'd paid for it. But it had value. Maybe Piria wasn't a villain. Maybe I wasn't a victim. Maybe we were just two people who needed different things and found each other at the right time. And when it stopped working, it ended. Messy. Painful. But not evil, just human. 3 months after the breakup, I got a message from an unknown number. Hugh, it's me. Piria. Please don't delete this. I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for lying. I'm sorry for hurting you. I'm sorry I wasn't the person you thought I was. You were good to me. Better than anyone. And I repaid you badly. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know. I'm in Pattaya now. Working. Same thing. Different city. I think about you sometimes. About what we could have been, if I'd been honest. If I'd been brave enough to choose you over survival. But I wasn't. And I'm sorry. I hope you're happy, Hugh. You deserve to be happy. I stared at the message for a long time. Read it over and over. Looking for the angle, the manipulation, the request for money. But there wasn't one. Just an apology. I started typing a response. Deleted it. Started again. Deleted it. Did this about 10 times. Finally typed. Thank you for saying that. I'm doing okay. I hope you're safe. Take care of yourself. Her reply came quickly. Thank you. You too. And that was it. No drama. No begging. No requests. Just closure. I felt something lift off my chest. Not forgiveness exactly, just release. She'd acknowledged what happened. She'd said sorry. And I'd said goodbye without anger. It was enough. I went to bed that night and slept better than I had in months. The next morning, I woke up early. The sun was just coming up. I made coffee. Sat on my balcony. Watched Bangkok wake up. The monks walking to collect alms, the street vendors setting up, the early morning joggers, the city coming to life. And I felt grateful. Not for Piria, not for the heartbreak, but for what came after. The clarity, the self-awareness, the understanding that I'd been using her just as much as she'd been using me, that I'd needed the fantasy as much as she'd needed the money, that we'd both been running from something and found each other along the way, and now we'd both moved on. She to Pattaya, me to this new version of myself, someone who could sit alone and feel okay, someone who didn't need to be saved or to save anyone else, someone who could just be. I finished my coffee, got dressed, went for my morning walk, past the mango sticky rice stall. The lady waved. I waved back, past the temple, past the coffee shop, past the gym, through the streets of Bangkok that were starting to feel like mine, not because I owned them, but because I belonged to them. This city had broken me, and then it had put me back together. Different, quieter, more honest. I thought about the man who'd arrived 6 months ago. Desperate, lonely, looking for something to fill the void. He'd found Piria, and she'd filled it, for a while. But when she left, the void was still there, because she wasn't the solution. She was just a distraction. The real work was learning to sit with the void, to accept it, to understand that loneliness isn't something to be fixed. It's something to be lived with, to be integrated, to be made peace with. And slowly, I was doing that. Learning to be alone without being lonely. Learning to enjoy my own company. Learning that I didn't need anyone to validate my existence. I was enough. Just me. 68-year-old Hugh from Texas. Living in Bangkok, drinking coffee, walking streets, making friends, building a life. Enough. If I could talk to him now. The man at the airport 6 months ago. The man stepping off the plane into Bangkok heat with 2 suitcases and a head full of hope. The man who thought he was done with life. I'd tell him this. You're going to meet someone. A beautiful woman in a 7-Eleven arguing with a durian. She's going to make you feel alive again. Young again. Wanted again. You're going to believe her when she says she loves you. You're going to give her everything you have. Your money. Your trust. Your heart. And she's going to break all of it. She's going to lie to you. Use you. See you as easy to manage. And when you find out, it's going to destroy you. You're going to sit in your condo for days. Not eating, not sleeping, just staring at the walls, wondering how you could have been so stupid, so blind, so desperate, and you're going to survive. You're going to walk through this city alone, through the heat and the noise and the chaos. You're going to sit by the river and let go of anger, let go of shame, let go of the need to be somebody's hero. You're going to realize that she wasn't trying to hurt you. She was just trying to survive. And you weren't trying to save her. You were trying to save yourself. You were using her just as much as she was using you. You wanted to feel young, important, needed. She provided that, for a price, and you paid it willingly, because for a few months you weren't invisible anymore, and that was worth something. You're going to learn that love isn't about saving someone. It's not about being needed. It's not about filling a void. It's about being honest, being present, being whole on your own first. She wasn't honest, but neither were you. You weren't honest about why you stayed, about what you were really buying, about what you needed from her. You were buying the feeling of being wanted, the illusion of youth, the fantasy that you could start over, and that's okay. That's human, but it's not sustainable, and it's not real. Real is what comes after. Real is sitting on your balcony alone and feeling okay. Real is walking through Bangkok without searching every crowd for her face. Real is making friends who know your name. Real is the mango sticky rice lady who gives you extra. Real is the gym, the temple, the morning walks. Real is building a life that doesn't depend on anyone else to have meaning. You're 68 years old. You've been married twice. Divorced twice. You've driven trucks across deserts and buried friends and watched your kids grow up and stop calling. You've lived more life than you have left. And that's okay. You came to Thailand because you thought you had nothing left. But you were wrong. You had yourself. You still have yourself. And that's enough. You don't know if you'll ever love again. You don't know if you want to, but you know you'll survive. You know you'll keep walking, keep eating, keep watching the river, keep breathing. Piria taught you something. Not what she meant to teach you, but something real. She taught you that you can't buy love, can't buy purpose, can't buy meaning. Those things have to come from inside, and you're still working on that. Every day, still learning, still growing, still becoming. The sun sets over Bangkok every night. The street vendors pack up their carts. The temples close their gates. The city quiets down, just a little. And you sit on your balcony, drink your beer, watch the lights, and you breathe. In, out, still here, still breathing, still learning. What you know now is this. Love is not enough. Trust is not optional. And sometimes the person you're trying to save is yourself. Piria didn't destroy you. You were already broken. She just showed you the cracks. And now you're learning how to live with them. How to stop pretending you're whole. How to stop pretending you have all the answers. You don't. You're just a 68-year-old man. Living in a foreign country. Trying to make sense of what happened. Trying to forgive yourself for being human. And that's okay. That's enough. You don't have a happy ending. You don't have closure. You don't have answers. But you have today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. And for now, that's all you need. You're still here, still walking, still breathing, still learning how to be alone. And maybe that's the whole point. Not the love story, not the heartbreak, not the lesson, just the act of continuing. Of waking up each day and choosing to keep going. Of finding small joys and small moments. Of building a life, one coffee, one walk, one conversation at a time. Bangkok is full of stories like yours. Broken men and complicated women finding each other in the chaos. Some stories end happily. Most don't. But they all matter. Because they're human. Because they're real. Because they're proof that people tried, failed, got up, tried again. Your story with Piria is over. But your story isn't. You're still writing it. Every day. Every choice. Every moment. And maybe that's the real lesson. Not about love or trust or heartbreak, but about resilience, about the human capacity to survive, to adapt, to grow, to find meaning even in the mess. You survived 2 divorces. You'll survive this. You survived 40 years of highway loneliness. You'll survive this. You survived a lifetime of feeling invisible. And now you're learning to be visible to yourself. That's the work. Not finding someone to love you, but learning to exist without needing that validation. Learning that you're enough, just as you are. Broken, scarred, imperfect, human. I look back at those 4 months with Piria now and I don't feel angry anymore. I don't feel used. I don't feel stupid. I feel grateful. Because she cracked me open, forced me to see myself clearly, to understand what I was really looking for, to realize that what I needed wasn't out there. It was in here. In me. I still live in Bangkok. Still in the same condo near Ari. Still eating street food. Still walking the same streets. I see ladyboys every day. In the malls. On the trains. At the markets. And I don't feel anything. No attraction. No fear. No judgment. No bitterness. Just acknowledgement. They're living their lives. Surviving. Doing what they need to do. Just like I'm living mine. Piria is somewhere in Pattaya. Living her life. Finding new customers. New lonely men who need to feel wanted. Part of me hopes she finds what she's looking for. Part of me knows she won't. Because what she's looking for isn't in other people's wallets. It's somewhere deeper. Somewhere she hasn't looked yet. But that's her journey. Not mine. Mine is here. In this city. In this life. In this moment. And I'm okay with that. More than okay, I'm at peace. The kind of peace that comes from acceptance. From understanding. From letting go. I write this not as a warning, not as a confession, but as a record, a reminder that I was here, that I felt something, that I tried, I failed, but I tried. And in the failing I learned about myself, about human nature, about the complexity of survival and love and need. Learned that people aren't heroes or villains, they're just people, doing their best with what they have, making choices, some good, some bad, some somewhere in between. Learned that forgiveness isn't about the other person, it's about freeing yourself, about releasing the weight, about choosing peace over anger. Learned that being alone doesn't mean being lonely, that solitude can be peaceful, that your own company can be enough. Learned that happiness doesn't come from another person. It comes from within, from acceptance, from gratitude, from choosing to see the beauty in ordinary moments. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything. The mango sticky rice lady waves at me every morning. The security guard knows my name. The monks at the temple nod when I pass. I have friends. I have routines. I have a life. It's not the life I imagined, not the life I planned, but it's mine, and it's enough. The sun rises over Bangkok every morning. The street vendors set up their carts. The temples open their gates. The city comes alive. And I'm part of it. Not special, not important. Just present, just alive, just here. And that's all I ever really needed to be.